Hey everybody, if you're just joining this video, we had another date, time, and date time function video just before this one. So this one's sort of a continuation of that one. So there'll be like a total of 6 functions in all. If you haven't watched the previous video, again, on date, time, and date time functions, go ahead and watch that one. Otherwise, this one is simply going to focus on building upon, what we had earlier. So the DateValue, TimeValue, and DateTimeValue functions essentially take something that's text and converts it into an object that is either a date object, a time object, or a date time object, meaning the data type is no longer text, it's actually date. Why would this be important? It would be important because maybe you want to run other functions like add days, add months, or the date difference between today's date and some other date that might be in a database. But if you try to calculate that with these other functions that we haven't gotten to, you're going to run into a problem because the data type isn't the right data type, it's text. And in order to calculate all of that, it needs to be in the proper format of date, time, or date time. So to do that, it's simply as the name implies. So right here we have txt input 1, that's this. It's text value, and I'm going to simply type in date. Helps if I get into the right area. Let's get into DateValue. Yep. And we're going to do txt input 1.text. Okay. And it is yelling and complaining because the value that I have inside of the text box is just text, and it's not in a format that it expects. So to do this, let's play the video. Let's wipe this out, and let's go to 03 14 1999. Okay. And so now it's taking this text string and creating essentially the same thing. It doesn't look like anything's changed, right? So you might get confused. The key is that this is text. This is an actual date object, okay? Because I did date value. If I change this up, instead of date value, I could do time, right? And if we play the video again, let's wipe this out, and I do 1:30, it should, I don't know why it's not. Oh, time value helps. Come on, David. It should go ahead and show us what we're looking for. And again, as we saw in the other video, if we were expecting PM, we could type in PM and ignore the errors up here because you have to pass in a finished value. When you start seeing me type here and it starts popping up an error, it's because the function expects it to be in a certain format, and if it's not going to see it, it's going to trigger an error. So again, if I didn't want to do 1:30 and specify PM, I could also come over here to do 13:30 in the military time, and it'll do the explicit conversion for me as well. Again, ignore these errors. It's expecting a finished value here. Okay, so now that we've done that, let's do date time value. Okay, date time value is a little more forgiving. It will do a couple of things for you if you're not anticipating it. If, like you see here, I've provided the time value. I didn't specify the date, but it's going to, because it's a date time value, it's going to provide some value, and its default behavior is to give you today's date. So I just wanted to call that out and make sure that you've seen that. If we wanted an actual date, we could 01/01/2020, and this will give us January 1st, 2020, 13:30. Again, ignore the values. It's complaining because I didn't provide a finished value that it expects to do the conversion on. But the takeaway is both date value, time value, and date time values are going to convert text into the actual object, because downstream potentially I'm going to run additional calculations, and I can't do that on a text object in comparison, say, to a date object or a time or date time object, where I want to add days or do whatever. But the point is, I need to do time and calendar type manipulations to it, and you can't do it on text. So these functions are absolutely essential, and this is where you would use them. That's it for this video. We'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.